What is up, boys? My name is Berate from Mind Studios, and welcome to the first of a series of how to make a competitive 2D sprite-based fighting game. If you are new to Universal Fighting Engine 2, this is not the video for you. There is a series already on this channel about the basics of Universal Fighting Engine made by the very talented Etras Games for non-gamers, and you can go back on this channel right now and look at the overview because not much has changed from that version of UFE to this version of UFE. However, what has changed significantly about Universal Fighting Engine 2 is the ability to make a sprite-based 2D fighting game, which is what this entire series will be based off of. On top of that, this series will go over specifically how to make a competitive fighting game. I'll be going over the game theory on how to balance fighting games, on what types of moves are important, about character archetypes, what makes those character archetypes tick, etc. This video, however, will go over the absolute basics of how to set up a two-dimensional character in Universal Fighting Engine. If you want to learn how to set up a character in general, there is already a video on that topic. However, this video is going to be going over the hitbox setup, which is arguably the most important part of a two-dimensional fighting game. But with all that being said, let's get into it. The animation software that I use to animate my sprites is Smack Studio. This is a paid piece of software that you can get on Steam. However, you don't need it, but really the important bit is you need a sprite sheet. So I'm going to make a quick animation in Smack Studio right now, just so that we can, have a baseline to work with. This is just going to be a simple knee animation, 9 frames of startup. Then the active frames will be here for about maybe 3 or 4 frames, just to give it a bit of hit stop. And then it's going to have this many frames of recovery. What I'm going to do is I'm going to export this animation 8x8. And then I'm just going to save it to a spot where I can easily find it. Looking back into Universal Fighting Engine here, I have the entire character already set up. Again, there is tutorials already on how to set up the character. That's not what this is about. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going into the sprite animations character. I already have a few animations for him already, like walking and crouching, the stuff that doesn't really need a crazy amount of work. And I'm going to get the knee animation that I just made, and I'm going to drag and drop it in right here. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to go up to texture type. You're going to set it to sprite, 2D and UI. The sprite mode to multiple, because it is an animation, there's multiple sprites. All of my other animations have the pixels per unit set to 10. So I'm going to set the pixels per unit here also to 10. Now let's open the sprite editor. When you open up the sprite editor here, notice how it's good to take note of the dimensions of your sprite sheet. This is 8x8. So that way, when you slice it, all you have to do is go grid by cell count, then you just do 8x8. And now your animation will be right here. What this does is this automatically slices the animation into all of its different frames. This is step 1. Step 2 is getting your character's prefab that you set up after probably watching the other tutorial. And what you're going to do is you're going to click on animation. This animation tab, if you don't have it, you can just go window, animation, and then it's the animation tab. From here, you can see all the animations applied to this. What you're going to do is you're going to just press this arrow on the top left. You're going to press create new clip. You're going to go to your animations folder, which you cannot have an animations folder. It doesn't really matter where you put this animation. However, I like to keep mine organized. And this is just going to be hold down knee, because he's kind of doing a little bit of a knee attack there. Then you're going to go back to your sprite animations. You're going to get the knee, and you're going to select all the frames of the animation and drag and drop it right here. Also, an important thing to note is if you find that your animations are blurry like this, you're going to set your filter mode to point no filter and then click apply, and then that should clean up the pixel art a little bit. Now we have the simple animation right here, and the reason why I do it directly in the animation tree here so that you can preview the animation. You can edit the animation however you'd like. Let's say, for example, you want the animation to, go a little bit slower. You just drag out the animation like this, and the animation goes even slower. Or vice versa if you want to go faster, but I think it's nice like this. This is going to be a mid-hitting knee move, and generally speaking, 9 frames is good for a knee move like this. Let's get on to making the actual hitboxes now. Now that you have the animation here, it's just going to be the hoedown knee animation. What you're then going to do is you're going to go to your hitboxes folder. Again, if you don't have a hitboxes folder, that's completely fine. I just like to keep myself organized. You're going to right click, you're going to press create, UFE, and then custom hitboxes. Then with this selected, you're going to go to the hitbox editor. And there's nothing here. We need to do a little bit of setup on this hitbox editor so that we can more easily, set up our hitboxes. First off, we're going to choose our animation clip. This is what we just made before. So if we pick the hoedown knee and we just drag and drop it right here, that is our animation clip. Don't worry about that warning. That'll pop up every time. Next, you're going to get your character preview, which is just your character's prefab that's already set up. Drag and drop that right here. Then finally, you're going to press the preview off button and then turn the preview on. This will allow you to scrub through the animation just like this, so you can see when the hitboxes are popping up. Now, there are 3 different types of hitboxes that you need to know about when it comes to working in Universal Fighting Engine 2. There is body colliders, hit colliders, and no collider. Body colliders are what give your character physics. It means that if you were to run into your opponent's character, then you would push them, as you would in real life. If you don't want your characters to have body colliders and you want your characters to just be able to pass through each other freely, which I don't know why you'd want that for a fighting game, but who knows, you might, you just forego having a body collider. But for this, we absolutely want a body collider. So we're going to press this button here. We're going to press Add Hitbox, and we're going to right click and press Add New Active Frame. What this will allow you to do is this will allow you to create a new hitbox here that you can drag and resize to your heart's content. This is a new feature with the new version of UFE, by the way. You weren't able to drag and resize it before, but now it's easier than ever to make your body colliders. What you're going to do is, since this body collider is going to be active for the entire time, we're just going to drag it out to the entire duration of the animation. Just like such. Now, we're going to right click, we're going to press collision type, and it's already set on body collider by default, but at this point, you have all your other options, but I will get to them when I get to them. The hit type, high and low, that doesn't really matter for this type of hitbox, but the shape is very important because we want this to be a rectangle. And what we're going to do is we are going to simply resize this rectangle to fit our character's body. Just like such. Doesn't have to be super precise. The body collider is generally just a guideline. If you are playing a game similar to Street Fighter 6, the body collider will look more something like this, where the body collider is only in the center of the character. So it really does depend what you want, but for my intents and purposes, I would like the body collider to fit my character a little bit more. So we're going to do it like this, but it doesn't have to be super precise. Generally speaking, you would like it to be a tiny bit smaller around the edges. So I think this right here is good. And again, we're going to do this again. However, a little hack for you so that you don't have to drag it out every time is you can just do this and you can duplicate it. Now we're going to get our hitboxes. Our hitboxes are basically what detect if your character is going to get hit. If a move's hurt box collides with your character's hitbox, it applies the damage, the hit stun, etc. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the collision type to a hit collider or a hitbox. And again, same deal as before, we can resize it. The default color for a hitbox is going to be this light green here. And generally speaking, you want to make sure that your hitboxes are aligned to your character as much as they possibly can be. So we're just going to make it so that it just fits the bounds of the character here. And if we scrub through the animation, we'll see that the hitbox, since he's staying pretty stationary, his knee will come up, but I don't want to add a hitbox there because I don't want people to hit them out of the knee animation. Now, we come to generally the one that you've been waiting for, which is the hurt box. Now, a hurt box is what tells the game that your opponent got hit. If your hurt box collides with their hitbox, then you hit them. So what's going to happen here is we're going to press Add Hitbox once again. Now, we're not going to duplicate it because we're making a completely different type of hurt box here. We're going to right click, we're going to press collision type and do a no collider. We do not want our punches to push our opponent away like they would if it was a body collider. But we also don't want to make it so that if our hurt box gets hit, that we take damage, because that sort of defeats the purpose of throwing out a move. So we're going to do a no collider, which this no collider exists purely as a placeholder to tell the game that there is a box there. In later videos, when I go over how to actually make moves, this no collider is going to be very important because this is how we're going to tell the game where to apply the damage to on the screen. However, for our intents and purposes right now, just setting up the hitbox, we're just going to make the collider. So we're going to go to where the knee would hit someone. I made it so that it's 9 frames in. And at the 9 frame mark, right here, we're going to right click, add new active frame for the no collider. Then I want this to be active for 3 frames. As you can see, the knee sort of stays there for a little bit. So I want it to be active for this many frames. And then we have our recovery. So notice how the hitbox is only active. I'll make it bigger and actually resize it to where I want it to be. It's only active for as long as the move is active. And that right there is the entire long and short of it. This used to be much more complicated before. But now we have this entire hitbox set up. It is incredibly easy to do this in Universal Fighting Engine 2. So that's how you set up a hitbox in Universal Fighting Engine 2 if you're making a sprite-based character. I would like to thank you all so much for watching this video. Please tune into the next one where I talk about how to actually make moves. And yeah, this has been Berate from Mind Studios, and have a great day. Bye-bye.